welcome to December 2nd, first episode of the second. We made it. we made it. It's we're here. It's been a long year, but it's coming to an end.
Save the best for last.
Yeah,
Month of the Sages.
Woo, woo. Seriously, man. Everything that's happened this year, you would think it's been a couple years.
Yeah, it's been a long year, man.
It's been a very, very long year. You know who it's been a long year for? The Eagles.
Yes.
That whole team, it's been a long year, and Monday night, they need to stop putting NFC East teams on primetime TV, because it's terrible. Like, watching the Eagles, I don't get what they're doing. I don't understand what the coach is doing. Before the game, you say Jalen Hurts is taking first team reps during practice. Then you bring Jalen Hurts in. You're switching off, and you have him throw one pass. He completes it. Then you bring Carson Wentz back in. Like, what are you doing? Make up your mind.
You know what they say, man. That's what happens when you pay that man that money. You have to play him to a certain extent. I think Jalen Hurts should get in there, especially when he completes his first pass. But regardless of who you put in there, you have to figure out a run game for this team. When you only rush the ball 14 times and you're getting 5 yards per carry, you should just continue to work with that.
Seattle's not that good at stopping the run as well. And you already know you got issues when you're passing the ball, because your O-line got issues protecting the quarterback. 6 sacks. I think he's been sacked 46 times this year, league high. And you got issues everywhere on offense, at the quarterback position, offensive line, receivers. You got issues everywhere, and I think it's just a coach not making things simple for the team.
Yeah, and he's known for getting injured. So you want to protect your quarterback. That's kind of like the overall goal for like your offense and their linemen, is protect the main guy with the ball.
And you know the ironic thing? He's been the most healthy one the past 2 seasons. Out of every player on that offense, it's like when your top guys are out, they're in and out of the lineup. Your offensive line is in and out of the lineup. The running backs are here and there. Some of, I don't know. But the crazy thing is, they still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Unfortunately, they do, but they aren't gonna do much in the playoffs.
No, they're not. The Seahawks, they've bounced back after a couple sloppy performances, especially Russell Wilson. Him and DK Metcalf set 177 yards, and it took a little time for them to get things together. But they got their running backs back, which was key for their offense. They got the running backs back. Gave it 30 carries between their running backs. That's their recipe: run the ball, play action, go deep.
Wilson threw the ball 31 times. No interceptions. A lot of quarterbacks throw the ball over 40 to 45 to 50 times. You're going to have 1 to 2 interceptions. So you have to keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? Keep it simple, stupid.
And the thing with the Seahawks, they still have a chance. They actually still have a chance to get that number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Right now the Saints are at the top of the NFC with their 9-2 record. But Seattle and Green Bay, this last stretch, this last month is going to be big. If the Saints fall at some point, either Green Bay or Seattle got a chance for that number 1 overall seed. But there were some notes I took from this game. All right, Jamal Adams, he's been out for a while. He came back. He had a sack, which brings his sack total to 6.5 in 7 games on the season. I think the record is 8 by a safety or defensive back by Adrian Wilson, and that was in 2005. So Jamal, he's got 18.5 sacks. So they use him all over the place. Great player. He's pretty much doing what Earl Thomas was doing when he was there and fully healthy and not getting shot by his wife. DK Metcalf, he had 118 yards receiving in the first half. That's his 5th 100-yard receiving game of the season. He's 1 game shy of the franchise record, which is held by Steve Largent, who had, I believe, he had 6. And he's also got 5 receptions of 25 or more yards, which is pretty good. And Seattle, he's also the first Seahawk since Darrell Jackson to do this 500-yard games. Okay. And then Seattle, they're 6-0 against Philadelphia under Russell Wilson, and they've won 7 straight against them. So that's some game notes for them, including they won 2 last year, regular season and postseason. Another team that's kind of hitting their stride, the Green Bay Packers, but It was pretty much a scrimmage for them because they were playing the Chicago Bears with what's left of the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears quit. They pretty much quit. Their defense quit because they they play so well for a certain amount of times, and then boom, their offense doesn't do nothing. They get back on the field. They keep going back on the field with these 3-and-outs, and then with the high-powered offense like the Packers, you just can't keep your offense can't keep getting 3-and-outs and putting you right back out there.
You're absolutely right, my friend. And you threw that quarterback Trubisky out there. Like, if you know your quarterbacks aren't that good, and you're getting 7.6 yards a carry on the run.
They just
like my man, like about 46 times, two interceptions. Like, you don't need to have these guys throw the ball so much. There's only like 4 guys in the NFL that can throw the ball over 40, 50 times and be efficient.
Plus, Trubisky's just not that good to be throwing the ball more than 20 times.
But the NFL wants every franchise to make their quarterback a super passer, and it's like every franchise doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I get it's the new way the NFL is, just like NBA was talking about the other day. NBA, everybody shooting threes, but only certain teams can play that way.
Yeah.
And in NFL, only certain teams can be pass happy. You have to just be smart with football. Some of these guys have no clue how to.
The Bears, that whole organization, they're just not doing well, and they didn't do themselves a favor because you moved way up. They talked about this. I think they talked about this Sunday or Monday. Moving up to number 2 to take Trubisky when there were so many question marks about him. Like, they kind of ruined him because you moved up, you passed up on 2 guys. One was a national champ, one was a great prospect, and they're both doing well right now. And one got a Super Bowl ring, and you took Trubisky at number 2. So of course the expectations for him are way, way higher than his actual skill level.
Yeah,
like, you take him that high. He was probably one of those guys that needed to be on the bench for a couple of years and learn, but they took him number 2, threw him out there, had one decent season, they made the playoffs, and it's been downhill ever since. And it's kind of, you almost feel bad for him, but it's kind of like, what are y'all doing?
Unfortunately, it's like, I totally agree with you. You got these people who are so-called experts and telling people this guy's better than these guys who actually proven and actually won on the highest level is just stupid to me. There's very few guys that are just completely overskilled and winners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just very few. And if they were that skilled, they'd be borderline winners. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, I didn't really know who Trubisky was in college. I heard about him, but there were like 4 other quarterbacks that I've heard about that should have been picked ahead of him.
I didn't know about him much in college either. And the crazy thing is, he played in the ACC against Deshaun Watson, who's coming off a national title. So it's the evaluation from some of these organizations. You just don't have to. You just wonder, and the Bears still got a chance, but you don't even know where they go from here. But the Packers, they seem to know what they're doing because they stuck to their game plan that they've been doing all season long: run, pass, and protect Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a 19-5 record against the Chicago Bears, and I think this is another game where he's had he's had a passer quarterback rating of over 100. He owns the Bears.
Yeah, and he's only thrown the ball 29 times.
And they're protecting him.
Yeah, and they got a nice, decent, like how you said, they got a decent running game, and that's my whole point. Like, if you got guys who are considered some of the best quarterbacks in the league, not needing to throw the ball that much, why are you putting so much stress on these guys who aren't even that good at that position?
And the Packers have learned from a few years when they had Aaron Rodgers. He was setting all those passing records, but they weren't. When it came to the big games, championship games, it was just he didn't perform well. When he didn't perform well, the whole team didn't perform well. So now it's like, take some of that off his shoulder. He is getting older. He turned 37 today. So the older you get, the more they got to rely on the running game. We'll get to a team that should be taking our advice too in a second, but they rely more on the running game, and the running game opens up the passing game because what Aaron Rodgers is good at is that play action pass, and Devontae Adams is one of the best in the league. I mean, he's 6 receptions, 61 yards, and this guy Robert Tonyan, he's come out of nowhere, and he's been having himself a solid year, and it's all predicated to that running game of the Packers that they're using. And anytime you have a running game, especially playing up in Wisconsin in the cold, like.
Ooh. And it's just hard to cover people when you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
There's very few teams that when you know what they're gonna do in this and they still execute.
Yeah.
Those are the elite.
Yeah.
Most teams in the NFL are not elite.
Definitely. And we just need to stop saying Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback that y'all have ever seen. Just
who said that?
Oh my gosh, I was arguing with my cousin and some people on Twitter the other day.
Is he better than Joe Montana? Because that's my guy. And then Brett Favre.
I mean,
you got Brady.
You think he's? My cousin said Aaron Rodgers didn't have Bill Belichick or Tony Dungy as his coach, and that's the excuse he's using. But coaching only. Coaching matters only so much.
Yeah.
Coaching matters so much. And my thing was when it came to the big games, the NFC Championship games, he's played in 4 of them, and he has not played well in any of them. And my cousin is using these excuses. He said there was a game where they lost 45-50. I'm like, was that the coach's fault that they scored 45 points and then they turned the ball over on the first possession? So it was this argument. He has this idea. He's been I don't know. He thinks he won't admit that he won't say that he thinks Rodgers is better than Brady, but he thinking Rodgers is better than Brady, and this has been going on for so long. I'm just like, yo.
I mean, to be honest, if you've seen them skill wise, you would pick Rodgers because he could run, he could do everything. But Brady's a winner, and sometimes less is more. And he don't got no legs, but sure got that arm, boy, and precision.
And Brady produces. I'll say this again. I looked at stats. You know, I didn't start from Aaron Rodgers. I took the second year of Aaron Rodgers being a starter, which was 2010. I think that was the year they won the Super Bowl. I took that year until up to now. And I took that year for Brady, too, and compared it up to now. Brady has thrown more yards, has thrown more touchdowns, has won more games. They both have the same amount of MVPs, too. Brady's played in more Super Bowls and won in more sports games. So it's like... And I'm just taking 10 years because, you know, Brady had a head start, but I'm just taking, this is like a 10-year span between each two when they both were started at their peak. So I'm like... We
win. And if, like, honestly, when you said that, I could compare, like, a Tim Duncan and Garnett.
Yeah.
That argument to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They're great, but Tim's a winner.
Yeah.
And he's not as good, but he was winning.
Yeah.
So, like...
Nice and simple.
Like... What you want?
You know who's having a hard time winning right now is the Bucks. Man, we talked about that how their defense is gonna have a nightmare with pretty much the league MVP. Well, we all know that Patrick Mahomes is about to get his second league MVP. Like there's no question about it. There were arguments of certain players early on in the season, but these past 4 or 5 weeks he's been separating himself. And number 24 on Tampa Bay, he's going to have nightmares about Tyreek Hill because what Tyreek Hill did to him was just not fair. 206 yards in the first quarter.
Is that the most? Is that Tyreek Hill career day?
Yeah.
Was his career day? That's why I figured I was watching. Like, boy, having a career day.
Career day. And you know what's the problem? It's like, at what point do you think, maybe we should stop playing man-to-man on him or give him some help? At some point, when do you make that adjustment? After he has 200 yards in the first quarter?
And he's kind of like their main receiver. Like it's not like the Bucks; they have a whole plethora of wide receivers. Like I don't know, man. Honestly, the Chiefs they're just good, man. They're just great. Like I said, like the Chiefs and the Bucks are two of the teams that can throw over 40 times. But you don't even want Brady throwing that much because once again, I've been stressing enough the past whole season. They getting 5.8 yards a run. Why wouldn't you consistently run? You only ran the ball 13 times, like 26 at least.
Here's my problem with the Bucks is they don't make no type of adjustments. Mm-mm. They want to make the home run plays all the time. They want to just go with the deep ball all the time. And Kansas City pretty much knew what they were doing. They figured the Bucks kind of figured it out in the second half, but y'all were down 20-0 at one point, or something, or 20-7 at one point, playing catch up the whole game. But you can't just be bombs away the whole time. This is why he's making these dumb decisions down the field. You just can't be bombs away all the time. Brady has never been a bombs away quarterback, minus that 1 year with Moss. But
you see how that worked out for us? Exactly.
Yeah. So you just can't be bombs. You got to switch it up. You got to switch it up. And the problem with the Bucks is the head coach, he doesn't switch it up at all. They weren't running it. They weren't play actioning. It's just drop back. We're going deep.
Question was, it's Bruce Arians, right? Yeah. Was he coaching in the league when Brady was developing and becoming Brady?
Yeah.
Then he should know what Brady is, man. Like you should know. We know what Brady is. That's my biggest issue with him leaving us. It's like, bro, you have the best situation here. You're gonna go down as the greatest QB ever. You go there, they're gonna think you're something you really aren't. Because you have all these passing records and you're great, but they don't realize you've never been known for throwing the deep ball.
Isn't part of coaching adjusting?
Yes.
Like when you just you get samples. When you see samples and you're just okay, this isn't working all that well. It only works when we play action or when our running game is effective. You would think that you would see that the deep ball isn't great, but the intermediate. Like in the middle, that works really well. I don't understand what the Bucs is doing. A bye week couldn't come at a perfect time for them because they really needed this bye week. But the Chiefs, on the other hand, my goodness, these guys are on a streak, and I don't know who is going to stop them. But Mahomes got this offense going. Mahomes is I don't know. He had the two leading receivers in the league right now, in Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and their running game. They just it's like pick your poison. What do you want to do?
For real, and it's crazy when you look at their stats. It's like 0-3 in the red zone. You usually don't win by 3.
Yeah, but they got but the way they score the ball, it's just like, oh damn. Here's some more stats for you from this game. Mahomes first played with 30 completions and 300 passing yards in 4 consecutive games. He's got 5 career games with 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. That Dan Marino, he's tied with Dan Marino. Dan Marino got 6. He's got 15 career games with 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Dan Marino and Kurt Warner and Tyreek Hill. We see this was a career high. He joined Don Hudson, Jerry Rice, Amari Cooper, Chad Johnson, and Art Powell as the 6th player with 10 receptions and 200 yards. And he also joined Quadri Ismail.
Okay.
And Lee Evans as only receivers to have 200 receiving yards in the first quarter. Lee Evans.
I heard Ismail.
Right? Like, wow. All right. The Bucs got a bye week. The Chiefs are back on the field, and I believe they got a Monday night game. No, they are going to Denver. They got Denver at home. Then they travel to the Dolphins. Then they got the Saints. That's gonna be a big one. And then they close off with the Falcons and Chargers. So only one potential loss in this stretch, but yeah, good luck to people. Good luck stopping that. It was ugly, but a win's a win for the Patriots. They needed a win badly. They got it. Man, this was an ugly football game. Both sides. Before you go, there was a lot of ugly quarterback play this Sunday. I'll tell you that. But yeah. Including ours.
For real, how you throw the ball 18 times and give it away twice?
For real.
Like, come on, Cam. Like, we've been vouching for you all season. We're still gonna vouch for you because we know this is your first year in New England. It's all an adjustment.
He's got some obstacles.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to, man.
Yeah, he need like a full off season with these guys because the way he's been playing, it just hasn't. It hasn't been great. Granted, they almost lost it with his bonehead interception, but, kickers are going to be kickers, and you can't trust kickers. Well, their kickers is going to be kickers. Ours made it. And the Cardinals, at one point in this game, when they got that penalty for the helmet-to-helmet hit on Cam, you could hear them talking about this game was taken from us. This game was taken. I'm like, dude, the dude just hit him in the head with his helmet. 1, that's a penalty. 2, your kicker just missed a field goal.
Accountability is tough, man.
Very tough.
Accountability is almost extinct in this world nowadays. It's everybody else's fault why people lose. Like, I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't understand. But hey, Camp said it. I'd rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss. They needed this just to keep their playoff hopes.
How do you have a pretty loss?
That's Seattle.
Loss is always
it's a loss, but when you play a team that are head and shoulder better than you, but that's a good story for another day. But for the Patriots, hey, get these wins as you can, because now they have these games they got coming up are winnable games now. They got the Chargers, they got the Rams, and then they close off the season against the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. All of these are winnable games. They've shown they could play with them. They just need to cut down these turnovers, these mistakes. They just need to make. I don't understand this team.
We have to be run first, pass second.
Yes.
That's just what it is.
Yes. That's pretty much it. Yeah, because the way we're passing the ball it's just not looking good, and This offseason, if they do bring Cam back, and he comes back next season, it's gonna tell a lot.
And he's gonna have to improve in the pocket because honestly, if I'm a defensive coach coordinator, I don't believe in Cam.
Yeah,
that's just how he's been playing, especially after he had COVID.
Yeah,
I just don't believe in their offense passing the ball efficiently enough. So I'm gonna make you guys run the ball. You know what I mean?
Definitely. But hey, a win's a win. Good win for them. Oh, but yeah, Cam 0 touchdown passes, third time in 5 games he's done that. 9 completions, which probably a career low for him. I didn't look that up. Belichick 454th victory. He's third most, tied with Tom Landry, and the Patriots on pace to rush for 2,394 rush yards. That would actually be. I think 4th in career in their franchise. The most has been 3,165 yards, and that was in 1978. And Cam Newton's on pace for the most rush yards by a New England Patriots quarterback since Steve Grogan did it back in the late 70s.
Curtis Martin got no records?
I say for quarterback. Yeah.
Oh, I'll think running back on the floor.
He probably does, but he was only here for 2 years.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like he was here forever.
Yeah, it was, but he was only here for 2 years. Man, we talk about this game quickly. How this nonsense with the Broncos and the Saints. They had 2 receivers playing quarterback out there, and it was exactly how you expected. Ugly.
Yeah, I didn't write anything down.
I don't blame you for not writing anything down. I was watching that game on the Red Zone channel. I felt bad for that quarterback that they threw out there. They elevated him from the practice squad, and then he was out there, and it was just bad. It was just bad, man. It was bad.
I seen a meme talking about the Broncos scored the same amount of points without a quarterback as the Bucs did with this famous Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I was like, why are they just killing Brady like that?
This is the year people want to everybody's been looking for a reason to pile on Brady. It's been for like forever, and this is their year to use all their ammunition when he's just on his way out of the league. So this is. Let them get their laughs now, but it's kind of it's sad at this point. Like, dude, y'all need to be focused on the MVP Mahomes right now because he's taking over the league.
Yeah, he is.
But with the Broncos and the Saints, I just don't understand why the NFL even let them play. Hey, like, why you even let them?
You gonna fake COVID?
Oh my gosh. They're quarterbacks too. Like, how dumb are you for not wearing your masks in the quarterback's room or whatever? And now. Granted, some of them didn't have it, but you were still at high risk. So, how you put your team in a position like that? That's just... If I was a teammate, I'd fight them.
It's accountability.
Like, bruh.
Honestly, accountability is something that a lot of people, they don't have. Even no matter how old you are. It's just one of them things like, they're looking for somebody else to pass the buck to.
Yeah, which is embarrassing. But that game was an embarrassment to football. And Taysom Hill experience. I mean, free Jameis, please. You got 2 guys out there that really can't play quarterback, and you got an actual quarterback who threw for 5,000 yards and I think 30 touchdowns on the bench. Make that make sense.
I mean, but what happens if Breeze would have got hurt? Then they need James. All Breeze got to do is hit the wrong way. Hold on, did he play?
Breeze, no.
That's what I figured.
Taysom Hill starting.
Hold up. See, I didn't watch none of this game.
Oh, yeah, Taysom Hill started the past 2 games.
Honestly, that's a back. It's like I feel like they just. I don't know what's up with Jameis. I don't know what the deal is with that team. But why'd you even pick him up if you're gonna have this Taysom Hill guy who we don't even have any confidence in? No disrespect to him as a person, but as a player, we don't know you compared to Jameis. Like Jameis has shown, granted he's 30 for 30, but he's a starter. He showed he could win games.
Yeah, that's just embarrassing.
Oh, my bad. I was all out the loop with this game.
This is why I'm not a fan of Sean Payton at all. Not a fan of him.
But in all reality, he gets what he deserves, though.
Yeah.
Every year, they don't go nowhere.
Yeah, this is true.
I guess karma hits you certain facets of life.
Yeah, and it will hit him in the playoffs, and I'll be there to laugh. All right, lastly, Thanksgiving game. We'll talk about this briefly just because of the embarrassing way that the Washington team beat the Cowboys. Washington was all over them. This is a whole different team. They've actually been playing really well.
Yeah.
And I'm utterly surprised.
And the Cowboys are still 0-something in the red zone.
Yeah, I don't understand them. Ezekiel Elliott is still fumbling the ball. He had another costly fumble. They keep trying to run these trick plays with CeeDee Lamb. I don't understand what they're doing on offense. They just need to go back and make it simple. But for them, they do this every year. They get all their fans' hopes up, and then they put performances like this together. I mean, they beat Minnesota, and they thought, oh, maybe got something going on, and then they come out on Thanksgiving and do this. You get outscored in the fourth quarter, 21-0, and I mean, you couldn't stop the run. You couldn't stop Alex Smith from making big plays on third down. You couldn't block. I mean, they had 3 sacks, and you're just not a good football team.
Not at all. They shouldn't have played on Thanksgiving. And I like how Alex Smith was playing. I like how Washington's playing well balanced, man.
Yeah.
Well balanced.
Definitely well balanced. They're playing solid defense too. Their defense, Chase Young he's had quite the rookie season. That defensive front four, they get after the quarterback. They get to the quarterback. So you're gonna have a hard time. When a team just gets to you with 4 guys, you're going to have a hard time doing anything. And it's life easier for their defensive backs to just tee off and make plays.
Yeah, man. But I'm going to repeat this again. They should not have been on Thanksgiving. I don't know how you're going to... You need to change up the formula, because whoever the 4 best teams are or 6 best teams, they should be playing that Thanksgiving game. I don't understand. Like, tradition's overrated.
Yeah, at this point, don't nobody want to see the Cowboys or the Lions on Thanksgiving. The Lions got like a 4, and they've won like 4 games on Thanksgiving.
Why were they ever on?
I have no idea.
The Lions. I never understood that either.
I think I remember reading something like there was when the league first did it. Like some teams didn't want to do it, and the Lions and the Cowboys must have been the only ones that were like, okay, we'll do it, and it's just been them ever since. Yeah, it's weird, but let's go to Craig to the. It's weird. Let's go to Craig to the Fantasy No Huddle, and then we'll be back.
What up, everybody, and welcome to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy Craig, here to give you my DraftKings picks of the week. Feeling a little stuffy today, so don't mind my voice. Let's start off with the quarterback position, Kyler Murray. Dude's been playing like a dog lately, minus the Patriots game where he'd had a lackluster showing. But usually when someone's down, the following week they're going to pick it up for you. And I like Kyler Murray to pick it up this week and have a good game for us. Going up against the Rams, tough defense, but I think he's going to be airing it out. A lot of weapons to defend, so we'll see what happens there. In the running back position, I got Nick Chubb going up against Tennessee. Nick Chubb is pounding the yards down. Cleveland Brown is the number 1 running team in the NFL. 2-headed monster there, but I expect Nick Chubb to get the load of the work. Next is Wayne Gallman. Really like Wayne Gallman in Indy going up against Houston's terrible secondary. I think he's going to get a lot of points scored. Going against Seattle with a fairly lackluster defense. So Gallman should have another good week. He's been doing nothing but good every week in and week out for the last 5-6 weeks now, and I expect him to keep that train moving. And what I meant to say was I got Michael Pittman going up against Houston and their terrible secondary. This rookie has been looking really good lately, and I expect him to score at least once, if not twice in this game. Going up against the worst team in the league in Philly, I got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I really just like this matchup. They're going to be airing the ball out all day long. Philadelphia can't stop nothing. The terrible play of Carson Wentz means that the ball is going to be continuously put in the quarterback's hand, and Aaron Rodgers loves to air it out. Next in the wide receiver position, I got T. Higgins. They are going up against Miami. Miami does have the best duo at cornerback, but I do like T. Higgins to get open. He's a rookie, unknown, doing really well. And he's going to be that saving grace for that Brandon Allen. And then next in the tight end position, going in the opposite direction, I got Michael Gesicki going up against Cincinnati. Really, really hard to pick at the tight end position right now, but he had a touchdown last week. I'd like to see him get a couple more this week. Who knows? We'll see what happens, but he was the best tight end available for the price. Finally, in the flex position, I have A.J. Brown. And I like A.J. Brown going up against Cleveland. I think this is a tough matchup. And A.J. Brown surprised everybody last week. Only caught like 2 catches, one for a touchdown, and then returned an onside kick for a touchdown. Nobody saw that coming. Got a big 23-pointer there. So technically he did have a lackluster day in the receiving game. Just got lucky on one long touchdown and one onside kick return for a touchdown. Because if he didn't have those two, it would have been a really bad game for A.J. Brown. So I expect him to rebound as it pertains to receptions and yards after the catch. So then finally in the defense, I have Las Vegas Raiders. The stuffy nose is just messing up my head. Las Vegas Raiders are going up against the Jets, and the Jets have been abysmal on offense. They have been turning around on defense, but the offense has been bad. And the Raiders had a terrible showing against Atlanta. Look for them to recover and have a better week. So with that being said, Kyler Murray, Nick Chubb, Wayne Gallman, Michael Pittman, Marquise Valdez-Scantling, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, A.J. Brown, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are my picks this week. I hope it helps you out. If not, don't blame me. I'm just a guy giving you the picks. Until next week, I will see you and back to After the Whistle.
All right, and we are back. Thank you, Craig, for that. All right, let's go to Mia Len with the sports update.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. I'm Mia Len, and today I'll be breaking down the latest in the sports world over the last week. To start off, the Boston College Eagles were able to give their seniors the gift of a win on Senior Day with their win against Louisville this past Saturday. The final score was 34-27. Dennis Grosel had himself a game, throwing 2 touchdown passes and making a 44-yard run. Also playing well for the Eagles was David Bailey, who rushed for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now all that remains on the Eagles' regular season schedule is a matchup against the Virginia Cavaliers this Saturday. Currently, the Cavaliers are tied with Georgia Tech for 10th in the ACC, while the Eagles are sitting in 6th place with a conference record of 5-4 and an overall record of 6-4. Make sure to catch them in action in their final regular season game of this unusual season. Kickoff is at 3:30. In other BC news, the men's basketball team played in their 3rd game of this 2020-21 season Monday night against St. John's University, losing to the Red Storm in a nail-biter. That final score was 93-97. Despite the Eagles outscoring St. John's in the second half, they weren't able to pull off the win against the undefeated Red Storm. Winston Tabb and C.J. Felder combined for 41 points, while Stephon Mitchell pulled down a team-high 8 rebounds. BC now sits with a record of 1-2, with their one win coming from last Thursday when they defeated the Rams of the University of Rhode Island. You can catch the Eagles on the hardwood again this Thursday at 9:30 p.m. as they take on the Florida Gators. In Celtics news, it appears that the team will be adding Evan Turner to their coaching staff as the newest assistant coach. This move comes after the team has been down an assistant coach since the summer when Carol Lawson left to take on the head coach position at Duke. The 10-year NBA veteran and Ohio State alum is expected to aim his focus on player development. Additionally, Turner's experience should hopefully be of help to the large number of younger Celtics players on that roster. Lastly, the New England Revolution have advanced to the MLS Eastern Conference Finals after defeating Orlando City this past Sunday in a final score of 3-1. Scoring for the team were Carlos Gil and Gustavo Bo with 1 and 2 goals respectively. Make sure to catch them in action when they face Columbus this Sunday at 3 p.m. That's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week for another segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. Now back to After the Whistle.
Thank you, Mia, for that. We are back. All right, quickly we'll talk. Man, there was some boxing that happened this weekend. And for avid boxing fans, the main event is pretty much what they were there for. They got entertained by that. But the undercard, we got memes and we got jokes off on Saturday thanks to Nate Robinson going out there and embarrassing himself and being put to sleep by a YouTuber. Making all the NBA players look bad.
Yeah, man. Like I know a lot of people saying applaud him for getting in the ring, 2-sport athlete, all that's great and all. He's been in front of millions of fans multiple times his whole career. Like my whole thing is, the skill just wasn't there. your hands wasn't there. You tried to scoop dude, like, and he's talking to somebody like
should have wrestled him.
Like, yeah, we know how to fight, so it's like
should have wrestled.
Should have been UFC. Should have had MMA for that one, like,
or WWE. I know Vince McMahon's always trying to get something.
Yeah. And it's like when you get knocked down that bad, it's just embarrassing. Like, that's just you gotta take it, man. And it's like you're supposed to be I want to say, you're a professional athlete, man. Fighting the YouTuber, not saying he's not fit. He can box, as you can see. He's 2-0. So, and I've seen Logan Paul in his little backyard brawls before.
I think Logan Paul actually prepared more than Nate did. Like, who was Nate's trainer? Like, what was Nate doing? That's the biggest thing. What was he doing prior to this? Because there's been a couple. They had a good amount of time to train for this, and it seemed like
6 months, something like that.
It could have been even more. I think it might have been a year.
Yeah, something. I mean, the skill wasn't there. No hands up, no jab, no stepping into the jab, no ducking and moving. He's throwing crazy. And he tried to. I told Justin, as soon as he tried to scoop him in the first minute and a half, I said his mind wasn't even boxing no more. Like it's just a certain mindset you have to have in that boxing ring, and once he did that, it was gone.
Both of them really couldn't fight. If you just watching it, like both of them had terrible technique and everything. You tell both of them weren't really. It's just this dude is 6'2" and Nate's 5'7", 5'8". So I think that he could get him. That's how he was able to get him. Like if Nate was 6'2", this might have been a little. He probably would have got knocked out in the third round. Just not the. That's not the same.
I do applaud. No, I applaud any man for getting into the ring, though. Definitely applaud.
I don't applaud him for being stupid.
Nah. What about Mike?
Mike, this all the boxing fans, the supreme hardcore boxing fans, they found this fight to be entertaining. They thought it was a good fight. I mean, for both these guys, for what they are at their age, they thought it was a pretty good fight between the two of them.
I had a lot of people upset at that fight only because they didn't like how Roy was holding and all that, and I told people like. It was brute strength versus pure skill. Yeah. Once he got hit by Mike one time, he realized that's the Terminator in human form. There was nothing Roy could have did when he was hitting him. Roy can't hit Mike hard enough. Yeah, he could hit him hard, but not hard enough to make Mike really blink. And it was like I was telling him, people was like, he's fighting sideways. You want to screw up Mike Tyson?
Yeah, that's true.
That's all the hooks he was throwing and the uppercuts. You might want to do sideways and jab and move because it's less likelihood that he'll catch you.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, for boxing, this was great for boxing. The greatest thing about this was Snoop Dogg and his commentaries. The commentator Snoop. This was pure entertainment. This is for the year that we've had so far. This was like a bright point for a lot of people just to be able to watch Mike Tyson and Roy Jones at their age fight and just, not think about what's really going on.
It's like an episode of The Simpsons, bro. The pandemic episode, and all of a sudden we get Roy and Mike Tyson at the end, like boxing for charity. Like,
facts. All right, we are going to go to the +1. This is a blast from the past. I got Brian. We talked about the pads and some other stuff. This is +1. We're gonna come back and wrap this show up. Welcome to another edition of the +1 interview, and this time we have a blast from the past. The original host for you for this segment. I got Mr. Brian Dorrington here. We got a lot to talk about these Patriots.
It is great to see you again. Marvelous Mukala Kabungo. I miss saying that. The alliteration, magician. I had a lot of good ones.
Yeah, you did.
And I miss being part of the show. But you guys are holding it down nice. That's for sure.
We're trying. The people still like it.
And you must be getting pretty desperate if you have to call in me for +1. I wonder how many people canceled before you thought, maybe I'll contact this idiot.
We had no guests this week.
All right, well, I'll fill in anytime you need.
All right, so let's talk about the Patriots this season. And the thing that everybody has been saying is, I don't understand this team. And to be honest, I don't get it either, because they gave us a little glimpse of hope when they had that 2-game winning streak, and then they went down to Houston and stunk up the joint. And They beat Arizona, but it's like we don't know what we're gonna get each week.
Well, the problem is there's no talent. I mean, that's really where it all starts. You look at these teams, even Arizona, who we beat, but they have talent. They have guys you want to hold on to in the future. Seattle, they have talent. Kansas City has talent. Who on the Patriots do you really say has talent that you want to see back next year? Like, who are those guys? How many guys do you want to see back next year?
Damian Harris.
Exactly. Damian Harris, Kyle Duggar, he's been playing well. Some of the linemen, one of the guys whose name I can't pronounce is supposedly really good, but even when he's injured all the time. So that's where it all starts from. There just isn't enough skill on the team that's going to come out and perform on a consistent basis where you're going to say, okay, now this team has an identity. This team can, run the ball consistently every game. Or this team, they got the deep ball threat. They don't have any of that. I mean, look at who the two best receivers are. Demarius Byrd, is that his first name? And Jacoby Myers. I mean, these guys are possession receivers. They're wide receiver threes in most other teams. That's I think where it all goes wrong. It all starts from the talent, and then it can only get worse if you have no talent.
Yeah, the only thing they've been consistent on in the offense that's actually been good has been the running game with Damian Harris as he emerged. Sony Michel, he's kind of on the shelf right now. Too many injuries and lack of production, but Damian Harris, he's really kept this team afloat. And with James White coming back, James White, he always gives them that dynamic of a run pass, run catch, running back / that type of player the Patriots seem to always have in these last 20 years. So those two.
And you know what? And I'll say one more. Nick Folk. Who would have thought Nick Folk would be the team MVP at this point in the season?
We wanted to run him out of town earlier in the season, but
but two 50-plus game-winning field goals, I think it is. Yeah. So those three guys, they can stay.
Yeah.
White, Folk, and Damian Harris. He's great. He's going to be a number one guy. You got to keep him healthy for sure.
Yeah, and now the thing that, as the season is winding down, we're looking at the quarterback position. And right now, if they win if they finish 8-8, their draft position, they might not be able to get a quarterback. So it's now, what do you do? Are you going to bring back Cam Newton? Because in my mind, I'm like, maybe you should bring him back, but give him another short-term deal, because he did come on the scene really late, having to pick up to learn the offense. I mean, maybe if you give him an offseason with this team to actually learn the offense and learn everything in the offseason, and we could see what happens with him in another short-term deal, maybe another 2-3 deals, like a 3-year deal with the last year as an option, give him that short term and see what he has when he has a full year of learning a full offseason of learning this offense.
Yeah, I mean, that might be what they have to do, but you said it exactly perfectly. This is the absolute worst case scenario for this year. And I hate being a Pats hater, but finishing in the middle of the pack, finishing 8-8, getting the 16th overall pick, I would have much rather tanked the season, had 2 or 3 wins, been able to get, at least compete for Lawrence, Fields, or Zach Wilson at a BYU, who I really like. But you're not going to get those guys. They're going to be gone by the 16th, 17th, 15th pick that you have. So you're right. So you got to start thinking about who's available next year. The good thing is the Pats, I think they're going to have the first or second most cap space next year. But who's going to be available on the quarterback market? Are the Niners going to let go of Jimmy G? Do we want Jimmy G if they let him go? I mean,
limitations.
Yeah, and he's injured a lot. So I think you're right. I think it's going to be either we're going to have to try to trade up in the draft. Maybe you package Gilmore with a first rounder this year and another first rounder if you want to try to move up, or you take a flyer on a second round quarterback, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, I think you might have to bring back Cam Newton, and it really scares me that we were going to go into this season with Stidham. I mean, if Stidham can't beat out Cam Newton right now, what does that really tell you about where we would be if we didn't have Cam Newton?
Yeah, I'll give you one better. If he couldn't beat out Brian Hoyer to be the backup to Cam Newton, what does that tell you about him? And there are Patriots fans that really believe that Jarrett Stidham should get some playing time. And if he was in there, the Patriots would actually have a better record. There's actual Patriots fans who actually believe in their hearts that Jarrett Stidham is a savior. And in my mind, I'm like, clearly you guys don't watch enough of Jarrett Stidham from the preseason games where he got pulled from a preseason game. And there's something like he's thrown 20 passes in the league. 4 of them has gone for interceptions.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to see him play just so we can get more losses and a better draft pick, because that's what we're talking about this year. I mean, we're talking about preparing for next year, but in a bad way, because the Patriots seem to be trending upwards, but it's not going to get us to Super Bowl. It's not going to get us to the AFC East Championship. Yes, there's an extra wild card spot this year that we still might be able to get, but this team isn't winning a Super Bowl. They're not going to win a playoff game if they somehow magically get in. So you're right. Everything we're talking about is for the future and for next year. And who would have thought? I mean, you and I, being our age, we've never had this where we say, oh, you know what, we'll have to wait and see what happens next year for us to win. We've been spoiled. We've had the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick run. So this is new to us. And frankly, I just don't know where to go, because we don't have the talent, and the talent that we do have is getting older. Gilmore, he's talented, but he's getting up there. He's going to want to get paid more. I mean, he's got one more year, but he's still going to want to get paid. You're going to want to pay a D-back deep in their 30s. Edelman, he's talented, but he's getting old too. I mean, I think it's going to be a tough spot.
Time to invest in some young talent, and also with the guys that opted out to COVID. Yeah. Now, what are they going to do next year? Are they going to come back? What's that going to be like? Because those guys, a year away from football is not always good. It may be good on your body, but sometimes we've seen guys take a year off and they come back, they get hurt, and they're done for the season real quick. So that's another obstacle that, there's a lot of question marks with the Patriots. And me personally, I'm not even that. I'm just like, sometimes things like this happen. It can't all be happy-go-lucky all the time.
It can't, but we also can't turn into how the New York Jets have been for like the past decade, because they're going to get Trevor Lawrence, okay? The Miami Dolphins have Tua. The Buffalo Bills have Josh Allen, who you and I used to rip. But I think he's proven us wrong. I still think that on the big stage, he'll be a fail guy. But those are 3 young quarterbacks in the AFC East that are going to be around for a long time. Yeah. And the way to win in this league is to get good quarterbacks on rookie contracts.
Yeah.
We need a good quarterback. We need a young quarterback, and we need to not be able to overpay if we want to compete with these guys. I just don't want us to see us finishing last perpetually in the AFC East, because then at some point I'm going to have to, start for a different team, maybe the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland.
We were right about Baker Mayfield.
We are completely right about Baker Mayfield, and I'm not buying the Cleveland Browns. They haven't beaten a good team yet.
I'm not buying the Cleveland Browns at all. I mean, they can run the ball. That's just about it. But you need a quarterback, and Baker Mayfield's not the quarterback.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I'll talk about 2 quarterbacks before we get up out of here. First, Carson Wentz, and how he's just been going down. Well, last year it wasn't too bad. Last year he put up, despite everything around him, he put up a good season last year. But this year, it has been bad. And it's like, Philly, how did it get this bad? Especially for him, too.
Yeah, I mean, he was incredibly highly touted out of college, obviously. And what was his injury? Did he break a leg or ACL? But the season that he did that, there were talks, Carson Wentz's MVP candidate that year before he got in.
Yep.
Excuse me. His slide, that's not COVID. Don't worry. I just got a dry throat. And even if it is, there's nobody around here besides Buddy the Elf, who, as you can see, is very excited. Anyway, yeah, Wentz, I can't tell you. Being an Eagles fan would be much worse than being a Patriots fan. They don't have anything to look forward to. They got to watch one of the most highly touted guys coming out of college quarterback in the past few years just turn into absolute pile of stinking garbage.
Yeah.
I don't have any explanation for it. I don't think Doug Peterson's going to be around much longer if he can't, because they have more talent than the Patriots. They got some good receivers. They got at least on the offensive side of the ball, they just running back.
Their issues, they can't be healthy.
They can't stay healthy, and Carson Wentz, you're right. He's just downward trajectory. Can't explain it.
I think maybe it's, and what's worse is they're stuck with him until 2024 unless they trade him, because they did give him that big contract. But it's looking like maybe he needs a change of scenery, because I just think he needs a change of scenery, and he just needs to go somewhere else.
That could be true. Sometimes a fresh start can help a guy, can bring him along, and maybe he's not in the right offense. Maybe I don't want to say this now, but maybe there's a guy like that the New England Patriots can pick up. And I'm going to throw out this name, Sam Darnold. For next year, if they take Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold's got to go somewhere. You got a 16th, you got a mid-round pick. Is Sam Darnold worth a first rounder? I don't know. But he's a guy who has talent. He's been with the worst coach probably in modern history, in Adam Gase. He's not been treated well in terms of what's around him, and he's maybe a guy that if we miss out on a top draft pick and we can't sign some nice free agents, maybe you go with the Sam Darnold, give him a shot. Could be a guy, like you say, like Carson Wentz, that might benefit from a change of scenery.
I got one even better.
Good.
Jameis Winston. I think Jameis, because he's only on a 1-year deal with the Saints, so he's going to be a free agent again. Jameis Winston, we can say all we want, with the 30 interceptions, all the turnovers he had. Jameis Winston, under the proper coaching and just under the right situation, Jameis could help a team out. And I think, because this guy did throw for 5,000 yards last season. We can't just brush that aside. Jameis did throw for 5,000 yards. I think he had 4,000 the season before. Jameis Winston, I think he can help lead a team, especially now that he's sat back for a year and just observed from the sideline. I think, Jameis Winston, I think he can next year. He can definitely help somebody.
It's funny. I don't know if you and I texted this back and forth, but I was big on signing Jameis Winston when he was, still available, because you could get him for cheap. He can make every throw you need him to make. Yeah. And what I like about him is, he turns the ball over, but it doesn't affect him. He's like a shooter in basketball. Mm-hmm. A three-point shooter. You're going to miss some, but they're just going to keep throwing it up. The good ones just keep throwing it up. They don't care if it misses or not. They're eventually going to hit one. And that's how he is with interceptions. He's going to keep – you can tell nothing affects this dude, because he walks off the field after throwing 2 interceptions. He'll go out and still, throw the ball, like you said, for 5,000 I was going to say miles, not 5,000 miles. That would be incredible, 5,000 yards. But that was also the Bruce Arians offense, throw the ball deep, take some risks. But I agree, with proper coaching, he's big, he's athletic enough. He reminds me of like Ben Roethlisberger type, a little bit more athletic, and he can make any throw you need him to make, but he is someone who needs to be coached. And you could get him cheap.
Yeah, you could definitely get him cheap. And speaking of Bruce Arians, there's a lot of stuff happening down in Tampa right now. A lot of noise in Tampa. A lot of criticism on the quarterback. The coach criticizing the quarterback in public. What do you make of everything going on in Tampa right now?
Well, I love seeing it. I love seeing Tampa. I mean, that's a team that. So they're. How many games behind are they, the Saints? Is it 2 or 3 at this point?
The Saints are 9-2. They are 7-5.
7-5. So with math, I think they're 3 games behind.
Yeah.
Either way, they should be atop that division with the talent that they have. Godwin, Evans, those are 2 Pro Bowlers right there. You add in Gronk. Yeah, he sat out for a year, but he's an all-pro player, and he has the rapport with Brady. And then you bring in AB, Antonio Brown. And then you got, a great defense as well. Devin White's probably one of the best, middle linebackers. So to me, that team is just miscoached. I think Brady probably brought an attitude that he learned in New England that's not going to work anywhere else. Probably too demanding of his players. He's old now. He was involved with the Patriot Way. He helped develop the Patriot Way. I think I don't know this, but I think he's probably trying to implement that stuff that he was doing in New England in that locker room with younger guys. And for some reason, they're just not meshing. And I love every single second of it. And I would love them to even miss the playoffs.
The thing I don't understand about Tampa Bay and Bruce Arians, because the interceptions Brady are throwing they're inexcusable. Some of them are very, very dumb interceptions. It's like, why are you throwing the ball over there? There's 2 people there. You're overthrowing it, or you're throwing it to a guy that's covered by 2 people. I get that. But once again, Bruce Arians, what are you doing? Change your offense around. You don't have to be bombs away every single play. You can't, when they get down big, they try to get it all back on one play, and they just completely ignore the running game. And it's like, this guy, you got a 43-year-old quarterback who needs the running game so he can do the play action to get the ball to his playmakers. And nothing is working on offense. Defensively, they had a good stretch, a good 4 or 5 game stretch, and then for the past 3-4 weeks, it's just been downhill. It's like the whole team is a mess, and a bye week could not have come at a perfect time for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's Bruce Arians' offense. It's always the deep ball. It's always trying to stretch the field. And Brady was a great deep ball passer, one of the best.
When he was younger.
When he was younger, that's what I'm saying. And it's not translating. And I think they might have too many cooks in the kitchen, too many different personalities, too many guys you're trying to get the ball to. And maybe in the locker room, it's just one of those diva shows like the Real Housewives of Tampa Bay or something brought into the Buccaneers.
Maybe
that's what I'm feeling.
That's what it seems like, and it's like the Brady haters are loving every moment of it. We got every second. They spent the whole week talking about him not shaking hands after a game. Then they talked about him yelling at his offensive linemen during games, and I just watched, and I'm just like, he does have a reason to yell at him. They had 4 or 5 straight penalties on a drive. Some of these guys, they go on TV and they talk and ramble. It's like nobody has ever seen a teammate get yelled at by the quarterback before. This is something new.
It's new to Tom. He's not used to having that many penalties on a team. There was something in the beginning of the year where the amount of penalties already in the season that the Buccaneers have had has never happened. Total amount of penalties for the Patriots in an entire season, something ridiculous like that. Anyway, the point is that there's so many more penalties now that Brady's seeing in Tampa Bay than he saw in New England, and obviously that comes down to coaching and discipline and Bruce Arians and having to get their team in a position to win. But then I still think Brady is just so used to that Patriot way, so used to that precision where the game plan was going to be perfect. Everybody was disciplined. Everybody was on the same page. And I think he expected that to be that way in Tampa Bay, and he tried to implement it, and I don't think it's working for him. And I couldn't be happier because I don't know how you feel about this, but I am quite upset over the breakup and how that turned out.
I wasn't upset. 20 years, that's it. You can't keep sports is a young man's game, and at some point you got to move on. But hey, 20 years.
He broke my heart, Mukala. I'm not moving on. My heart was broken.
20 years, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 Super Bowl victories. They can't ask for anything more than that. But yeah, the Bucs got issues. But to their brighter point for them, there's no clear-cut favorite in the NFC. So they can go on the streak, and once the playoffs comes around, anything can happen, because we saw we've seen lesser teams make playoff runs and win a Super Bowl. So anything could happen.
As much as I hate Aaron Rodgers, I think he is an absolute crap human being. I think the Packers are going to come out of the NFC, and I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come out of the AFC, and I think we're going to have a Packers-Steelers Super Bowl.
Here's my thing with the Packers. I've seen them play in their 3 losses, and they played when a team got physical with them and punked them. And I just don't see them making a deep run. I don't see it. I see maybe they'll get to the conference championship again, but I'm not sold on any team in the NFC.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if it's anybody. I mean, it's either going to be Green Bay or one of the teams coming out of the NFC West, but that's going to be a tough road for those guys.
Yeah.
Toughest division in the league for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Man, that was all right. We run out of time here. All right, Brian, that's good. Oh yeah. Lastly, before we get out of here, some Celtics news. What did you make of everything that's happened with them during this offseason? This whole Gordon Hayward experience that just didn't work out, and now they move. Now this guy Campbell Walker with his injuries, he's not going to start the season because he's had a bad knee. Like, what do you make of everything going on with the Celtics?
Well, first of all, you want to talk about not being able to blame people. Gordon Hayward, $120 million. Was it 4 years, right? I mean, that's going to come out to be one of the worst contracts in NBA and maybe all of sports history. So Michael Jordan, who really has not liked to pay people, it seems like, for some reason was willing to give $120 million to 4 years for a guy who came off the bench a bunch of times and has been injured and averaged like 17 points a game. I don't know. I think that's a bad signing. Great for Gordon. I'm a little upset the Celtics weren't able to get anything from it. So I feel like he kind of screwed us there.
They got some money that they could use next year.
They got some money, but there were talks.
27.8 or 29.7 million, something like that.
Yeah, but there were talks with the Pacers doing a sign and trade and getting some of the good Pacers players.
I don't understand why they didn't do the sign and trade with the players, because they could have got Doug McDermott and Miles Turner, a guy who can shoot and a guy who can play defense and rebounds. 2 things they needed desperately, and this would have been a steal for them. They
weren't going to give him $120 million. It was going to be around $100 million. $120 million, only the Charlotte Hornets. And just for Campbell, real quick, I know you said we're out of time, but from what I heard, he's getting stem cells injected in his knee. That's the procedure. I don't know if that's actually true, but if that is, that's really weird. I've never heard of it happening. And I don't know if it's preventative or not, but that just adds to the strangeness of this offseason. I look forward to seeing, what this team can do. I still think we need some bench players and somebody in a center to step up.
Yeah, that's all I've been saying. Their biggest needs are a center, our big men, and some knockdown shooters. Because right now, I don't know. They might just be an Eastern Conference Championship team once again. So we'll see, unless they make moves during the trade deadline. But we'll see. I don't understand them. I don't understand. So that's the Celtics. All right, Brian, man. Great as always to catch up with you. Give the people a little flashback on this Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And anytime you run out of other people on your list and have no one to call, that you can reach me last minute because I've got nothing better to do.
We'll get you back when the Patriots season's over. How everything unfolds from now until 3 weeks from now when this season's over. So we could get you back to rant more if the season ends.
Oh, I love ranting. Anytime you want me to rant, just let me know. I'll be there.
All right. You guys have been watching this one interview. Have a great day. And we are back. Oh,
thanks, Brian.
Oh my God.
If y'all don't know, we was on break. I asked about it might have light skin on Viv since I took over Brian.
Yo, oh my gosh. We gotta go around the league. And did I lose my paper? No, I didn't. All right, around the league. There's some stuff happening. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are set to play in about 30 minutes. This game that's been yeah. Robert Griffin III is gonna get the stop for Baltimore.
Time out. For real?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel no disrespect to you guys that be on the bench. I be forgetting about some of y'all because y'all was so high, and then he had the injury, and then I was like, what happened to him? Like, that's what's up, man. RG3, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. All right, two Texans players have been suspended for violating the league's PED. Texas receiver Will Fuller and safety defensive back Bradley Roby, and who their strength and conditioning coach is, Brian Cushing, who was suspended a few times from the league for the same exact reason. You would think.
You don't research shit. Like, he do has a track record.
Oh, man. Titans defeated the Colts to take first place in the AFC South. They're only separated by one game. So this is like money time for these two teams for that division crown. So Derrick Henry had himself a game of, I think, over $170, 3 touchdowns. Good for him. All right, and there's also been some league changes. For this upcoming Monday night, there will be a triple header. Washington versus Steelers will be first. Bills versus 49ers in Arizona because of no contact sport in California. Some stuff they passed. So San Francisco, the 49ers can't play.
When did this happen?
This happened like last week.
Oh, so I'm like, they've been playing in California.
It just happened recently because of the spike. So they're going to play in Arizona. The Cowboys and the Ravens will close out the Monday. Will also play Monday night. Also, over the weekend, there were 9 defensive touchdowns and special team touchdowns.
Yeah,
that was a lot
of defensive guys in the zone.
Right. The Lions fired Matt Patricia and general manager Bob Quinn. Patricia 13-29-1 record. I mean, everybody saw this coming. Mm-hmm. Sarah Fuller became the first female to participate in the collegiate football games, kicker for Vanderbilt. She got that.
You know what's dope about that? She wasn't like campaigning to get on the team. Yeah. She wasn't trying to go against anything. She was on campus. They said, "Yo, we got no kickers. You want to kick?"
Yeah.
She said, "Sure, why not?" I think that's dope. That's organic. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's dope. That's dope.
So good. Kudos to Sarah. Campbell Walker, he's gonna be out until January. Left knee injection. Whatever, he's been hurt for a while. So the Rams and 49ers, did you watch that game? All them turnovers. There was 2 turnovers the first.
Yeah.
7 turnovers total. Like, that game was a hot mess. The Browns are 8-3, first time in 12 years that they'll finish the season 500 or better. But
look at the tape a couple years ago, man. Look at it.
We're still waiting for them to beat a good team. But
hey. Baby steps.
Definitely baby steps. The NCAA, Colorado paused team activities. Their Pac-12 open, Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever conference it is. Their opener versus Arizona has been postponed. NC State, they canceled their matchup with William and Mary. 35 NFL games this season where a team has overcame 10-point deficits. That's a lot. Yeah. This is per NFL. All right, in college basketball, Champions Classic. Duke loses to Michigan State 75-69. Kansas defeats Kentucky 65-62. North Carolina defeats Stanford in Maui Invitational 67-63. All right, the NBA released their Christmas schedule. The most important thing is the Celtics and the Nets are playing. We wonder if Kyrie's going to play. We don't know. And turmoil in the Clippers. There's an article out in The Athletic that says the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were getting special treatment throughout the season, and a whole lot of stuff. I think I have it.
Special treatment as in like, for one, who is even saying this stuff? Like, what teammate is out here telling it?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me bring it up for you. Let me see just some of the things in this article. Okay, here's some of the stuff in the article. Leonard and George were the only players to have their own personal security guards and trainers. Leonard and George had power over the team's practice and travel schedule, leading teammates to believe Leonard canceled multiple practices. Leonard was allowed to live in San Diego and commute from there, which often made him late for team flights. Leonard and George typically didn't speak to the media until at least 45 minutes after games concluded under the guise of post-game treatment or workouts. This usually resulted in their teammates speaking with the media first and for longer, essentially becoming the public voices of the team. The team also believed that Leonard and George were able to pick and choose when they played. Not only did they sit out games entirely, but also at times they accepted or declined playing times in the moment.
So what? I'll be honest. So what? Like, some of that stuff, yeah, they shouldn't have the power to with the team planes and all that.
Yeah.
But those guys are multi-million-dollar stars with their own sneakers and stuff. So like they could have their own personal bodyguards. You got your own sneaker? No, you don't. So like certain things, like for one, all this stuff shouldn't have been exposed. To be honest with you, like because this been going on in the NBA for years.
Here's my thing. What was the coach doing about it? The coach could have nipped all this in the butt. Could have all been nipped in the butt by the coach. But
That's why I'm like,
yeah.
who cares?
Well, whatever.
They the big money guys.
Yeah. And lastly, Pat Patterson passed away. WWE's Pat Patterson, he passed away this morning. The news came out this morning. He passed away. So that's another loss in 2020 for.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Also, back to Paul George. Somebody said he can't be requesting these special treatment if you're gonna hit the side of the backboard during a elimination game. So,
That game was over then by then, but I totally get it. 'Cause that's still stuck in my brain, hitting the side of the backboard. Luke tell you certain stuff as a professional athlete, it's just something you shouldn't have happened, but it happens though. We've all hit in the backboard before.
all right, let's go. Let's go to the top 10, and we're gonna do our game picks. I forgot to tally up last week's scores, so I'll get that next week. So top 10, we're gonna come back, game picks, and close the show. And we are back. All right, let's go. Game picks. We are gonna do our game picks. As I said, I forgot to do last week, so we'll get that to you next week. So we're gonna start Thursday Night Football, Saints and Falcons.
I'm just gonna go with the Saints, man.
Yeah, me too. Saints and Falcons. Saints ain't got a quarterback, but the Falcons, they've been trash all. Well, they've been playing better, but they're still the Falcons. So Saints, Lions. Oh, jeez. Lions.
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I'm gonna go with the Bears, man.
I'll go to the Bears. Yeah, I'll go with the Bears. Browns, Titans. Yeah,
Titans. Sorry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry been on a tear. Titans, yeah. Bengals, jeez Louise, man.
Dolphins.
Bengals, yeah, Dolphins. What's with these games, man? Jaguars, Vikings.
The Vikings, I guess they got to play each other at some point.
Yeah, 1-10 and 5-6. I go with the Vikings.
Trash.
Yeah, Raiders, Jets.
Raiders.
Raiders need to redeem themselves after what happened to them. I got the Raiders. Colts, Texans. Texans have been playing well. I think they're 4 and they've been playing well.
Colts.
Yeah, Colts.
Okay, how well they play.
Rams, Cardinals. This is at Arizona.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals this go around.
You going with the Cardinals?
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals, man.
I'm gonna go with the Rams because the Cardinals, I don't like how they've been playing the past couple weeks. Giants, Seahawks, another team that's been playing well.
Man,
But they're going to Seattle, which is that travel all the way up there to the secluded area of the country.
Brother.
Yeah, Seahawks. Jesus, Eagles, Packers.
Packed.
Yeah, pack. Patriots at San Diego. Let's go, Pats. Yeah, we already know where we're going here. And Broncos, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, the Broncos are. Yeah, Washington Steelers.
Steelers. I don't see many upsets this week, personally.
I'm going to pick Washington just because I think they're going to get after Big Ben.
That's what's up.
Bills and 49ers.
Bills.
They're getting their guys back. Their guys are back
Bills.
on defense.
Bills.
Okay, I'm going San Fran. Cowboys, Ravens.
Ravens.
Hey, all right. That's it. I think, is next week's episode on your birthday?
Nah, their birthday's Tuesday. You know, I be forgetting that thing.
Let's look before we get up out of here. The 8th.
When's
It's
on-
Tuesday.
Oh, it
the 8th
is.
is on Tuesday. Well, day out next week, we'll do a show the day after his birthday. Make sure to check us out. Mr. Burton 23, Instagram. Mukala K, Instagram. LCTV After the Whistle, Instagram. Lynn Community Television, Facebook, YouTube, LYnnTV.org, all that good stuff. And I'm out. I got a little vacation, so have a good one. Peace. We'll see you.
Yeah.